Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. All right. So it goes on to say that uh sorry about that. So it says, unsurprisingly, given the clarity of censorship clause text, every other source of interpretation confirms this conclusion. Consider first its history long before the 14th Amendment, and indeed before the founding, the common law rule of jus soli right of the soul governed English citizenship. The rule rendered a person birthplace determinative of her citizenship status. Thus, the children of aliens born in England generally were natural born subjects. You hear that? You got to hear it. The rule rendered a person birthplace determinative of her citizenship status. Thus, the children of alien born in England generally were natural born subjects and entitled to all privileges as such. I rest my case. We know that the His Majesty's Act on Children Born Abroad clearly validated 1350. Okay, all right, that's the United States versus one Kim R. So what Supreme Court is backing that up. They're going to mention United States versus one Kim R. Where is it at? Let's see. The laws of England, constitutional law built in relation to common law, describes Calvin case, which established that everyone born within the dominion of the King of England is entitled to enjoy all the rights and liberties of the Englishman. Now, in Calvin's case, as we did read in regards to let's go there. In closing, did not to Ochomeyer, it says the statute of Edward III was invoked over 20 years in two matters, and the first of those did not prove effective since the outcome went in the other direction. But in the second, it was significant. In the debate of the section of Elizabeth I, it was thought by some to be telling against claimants of the House of Stuart. What happens when you tell somebody? You're squilling on them. In Calvin's case, it was also brought up to argue against the proposed right of an inheritance in England of the Scottish postal line, those born in the Union of the Crowns of 1603. So even the Scottish don't have a right to this birthright in question. Okay? They don't have a right to this birthright in question. So, in closing, it says, describing Calvin's case, which established that everyone born with the dominion of the King of England is entitled to all the rights and liberties of an Englishman. The English common law rule carried over to the United States after its founding. You hear that? After its founding. Shortly after the Constitution ratification, James Madison observed that it was an established maxim that the birth is a criterion of allegiance. You hear that? A criterion of allegiance. Birth, he explained, could convey citizenship in two ways, either through place under the right of soil principle or through parentage, as for one born to United States citizenship. But in general, Madison explained place is in most certain criterion, and it was applies to the and it is what applies in the United States. All right, so there you have it. The rights of Englishmen and English women are right here. Though the law was clear, the nation did not always live up to its promise. Infamously, this court departed from the birth by citizenship principles in Dred Scott, holding that the children of enslaved Americans and enslaved Black Americans are not included and were not intended to be included under the word citizen in the Constitution. Did you hear that, brothers and sisters? Did you hear that? So that's it right there. All right, that's it right there. So we must understand allegiance is very important because we have a statute in reference to the allegiance, all right, of the people. The allegiance of the people. Title 52 of the revised statute provides that the ancestry of the demographics of the citizens are to be recorded via Executive Order 14160. Okay? 14160. Right here. 52:4-7 of New Jersey revised statute. It says, each state agency that directly or by contract collects demographic data as to ancestry of residents of the state of New Jersey shall use separate collection categories and tabulations for the following. The primary language spoken at home in such languages is a non-English language, whether the respondent is fluent in English, and two, the ancestry. You hear that? The ancestry, the data collection pursuant to the provisions of subsection A and B of the section should be included in every demographic report on ancestry of the residents. So if your ancestry, that means that dealing with your genealogy, your ancestry, etc. And 9 to matter 10, that's Middle Eastern. Okay? Middle Eastern, North African, right here. 3. Each major Middle Eastern North African group, including but not limited to Algerian, Bahraini, Egyptian, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanese, Libyan, Moroccan, Armenian, Tunisian. These classifications does not measure up to those that are established by law in regards to your nationality, your nation protected under the law, because you need an oath of allegiance. That's New Jersey Revised Statute 41:1-1. As a citizen, not as an officer or one holding an office, because no allegiance is necessary. So it says, oath of allegiance under 41:1-1, every person who is or should be required by law to give assurance, fidelity, and attach to the government of the state should take the following oath of allegiance. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear the true faith and allegiance to the same, to the governments established in the United States, and then the state under the authority of the people, so help me God. So based upon the Supreme Court ruling in regards to the allegiance to the not just the citizenship, but to the allegiance to the government, body of politics, you now have to make a choice. If you don't make it, Donald Trump will make it for you. All right? He will make it for you. So with that, I'm going to close out. If there are any questions, please leave them in the chat or in the comment box. I apologize for the disruption in the last video, but this will be part 2. All right. Thank you for all joining. Brother McGarrow, appreciate you. All right. And with that, I'm going to greet you as I always greet you.